Hello, and welcome to another episode of Comic Book Day. It's the week of May 3rd. That was Comic Book Day this week. And I'm here to show you all the new stuff that I got. So we'll start with Captain America number 12. If you've been watching this at all, you know I've been trying to get caught up on this Steve Rogers Captain America title. I'm almost there. I keep missing little issues in between, but, just missing one issue at a time doesn't really affect the story too much. This is issue 13 of Steve Rogers' Captain America. I really like how this is a whole kind of, old 40s setup of the cover. You've got, the Human Torch, and I don't remember what his sidekick was called. You got Captain America and Bucky, and then up here you've got Submariner fighting some Nazis. So it's a pretty classic 40s era Captain America cover. This is Jessica Jones number 8. It's got a story I think that's going to tie into Secret Empire and Steve Rogers Captain America at least. Now Jessica Jones is going to have to protect Maria Hill. She was director of S.H.I.E.L.D. for forever in the comics. She's been ever since, Tony Stark took over for a little while after Civil War, I think. This comic pretty consistently has art that I enjoy a lot. This is Image Comics Extremity number 3. This is another one put out by Skybound, which is Robert Kirkman's company. I've talked about them before. I like them a lot. This one really has some interesting art in it. I like kind of how these people have these weird little, splotches of color. Almost all the characters, I think they're kind of representative of different tribes. Yeah, this comic has kind of been holding me over for a similar comic, Rumble. I really like the comic Rumble. But this one has been a good kind of replacement for it right now. I like comics with big, weird, giant monsters. That's what Rumble and both these have. This is Secret Empire number 1. Now finally this event is going to start kicking off, and this is a really big comic. I don't know, you can't really tell the size of it, but it's at least 2 or 3 times the size of a normal one. Actually wasn't that expensive considering how big it is, so that's pretty cool. Plus, for everyone who bought Secret Empire number 1, you get this poster, which I just learned these kind of motion-changing pictures, they're called lenticular. I really like this one because now if you turn it the right way, actually a lot of the ways you turn it, right there you can kind of see where it almost looks like there's an A on the Hydra Skull's head. It's actually made up of the star and the other skull's nose, but it gives you kind of this look of like an A that I think is on purpose because, like Captain America then. This thing's pretty sweet, so I'm excited to hang it up. And yeah, sometimes you get cool little free things when you get comics. And that's always good. This is Batman number 22. It's part 3 of the crossover with the Flash, that storyline, The Button. This one actually had a really cool lenticular cover. It changed between, here you have the Thomas Wayne Flashpoint Batman standing over a dead Martha Wayne and Bruce Wayne, vice versa. And then when you changed it, it would change to Reverse Flash standing over a crying Barry Allen and his dead mother. But, like I said last week, those lenticular covers cost $1 more. And if I hadn't ended up having to pick up that one last week, I probably would have bought the changing one for this, but it's just not worth it, really, for the extra money, This is Bane Conquest number 1. It's a mini-series. I think it's Yeah, it's a 12-part miniseries, and now Bane is kind of stepping out away from Batman and Gotham City, and he's turning his attention on the world. So yeah, I thought it'd be cool to pick up and see how the first issue is, at least. I buy a lot of first issues of comics. Probably way more than I should, but I like trying out new things. I really don't want to miss something good. I have at different times. So now I try to, do better about getting first issues at least. This is Iron Fist number 3. It's been a really good series so far. I know a lot of people are kind of upset about Iron Fist, the Marvel Netflix show. This is way more of what that show should have been. So far, the first 3 issues have just been Danny Rand, Iron Fist, in a fighting tournament with these, like 7 guys who have different styles that they've all trained with. And they're actually trying to take over the mystical city of Kunlun. Well, like, take its place. I don't completely understand the whole, all the backstory of the magical cities and stuff, but this is really good. It's fun to watch just Iron Fist in a bunch of fights. That's really where I think the show suffered the most. This is Spider Gwen number 13. I love this comic. I love Spider Gwen, the character. I really love the weird alternate universe that she lives in. For the most part, her universe is like a gender-swapped universe. There's a female Captain America. I don't know, it's not totally gender-swapped, because a lot of the villains are still males. But there's, like, gender-swapped heroes, at least to some extent. They also do some changing. Reed Richards was, like, a young African-American kid. So they do some kind of different changes all around. This has some of my favorite art. I don't know, I guess I'd kind of describe it as, like, pop art, almost even. Let's try to avoid that Secret Empire ad. But yeah, also a weird thing that's in Spider Gwen, and it's been in it from the beginning, so this isn't really a spoiler, but Matt Murdock, Daredevil, is the Kingpin in Spider Gwen's universe. So it's always kind of fun when he pops up and, is evil. Even though, I love Matt Murdock and Daredevil normally. This is Spider-Man number 16. This is the Miles Morales Spider-Man comic. Right now, this is the only Spider-Man comic I am reading. I really feel like Miles Morales kind of, is my Spider-Man. He's kind of the Spider-Man of my generation. And I've read a ton of the old Stan Lee Spider-Man comics. Those are my favorite of the Spider-Man comics. And I feel like this is the closest thing that you have to those old Spider-Man comics where, Peter Parker was in school, be it in high school or in college, and he was kind of a fuck-up, and things did not go good for him most of the time, and that's what happens to Miles Morales most of the time, and that's the Spider-Man that I like. I don't know, call me a sadist, kind of. I like watching, my superheroes kind of have to suffer for their superheroing. Not like they have to pay for it, but I think you get what I mean. This is a really exciting one. This is Walking Dead. It's issue 167. This is like a double-sized issue, though. I kind of flipped through it some. Looks like they cut out the letter hacks in it. It's going to be a pretty big story point. And if you know what's going on in the comics, you probably know what is going to happen in this issue. So yeah, I'm excited to read it, but it might be a pretty heavy issue. But still, I always love Walking Dead. It's probably my favorite comic that I've been reading right now, and for a while, really. All right, so that's been another episode of Comic Book Day. Make sure to come back again next week, and I'll have a whole new batch of comics. And make sure to go and hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. And make sure you get the word out about us. Follow us on Twitter and retweet us when we We mostly only tweet about posting videos, but that would still be great if you would share those with your friends. Share them on Facebook, I guess, too, really. We have a Facebook. I can't remember what the name is, though, right now. But it's probably Off Topic Network on Facebook. So you can check us out there, too.